Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring the Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, TRPG. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review, featuring this role-playing game based on the popular isekai series, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about the blessing rules, character growth, and other rules as well. Let's start with blessings. Player characters possess special powers because of their protagonist status. These powers are called blessings. Blessings are a strength hidden deep within, the power to rewrite one's own fate. Blessings can be used to add dice and to reroll checks. When rolling dice, a player may use any number of blessings their character possesses to add 1d6 to the roll for each blessing spent this way. The number of blessings a character has is equal to their luck. A player must declare prior to the dice roll that they are going to be using blessings. They cannot roll the dice first, then use blessings to increase the number of dice they roll. The dice addition from blessings can be applied to any dice rolls, checks, damage rolls, determining the effects of skills or items, determining loot, etc. When it comes to re-rolling checks, right after a player performs a check, they may use one blessing to re-roll that check. However, no check can be re-rolled in this way more than once. They re-roll using any extra dice gained from skills, items, or blessings. When a check is re-rolled using a blessing, it cannot be re-rolled afterwards by way of skills or items. Now, following that, we have a very interesting subsection detailing all sorts of situations, how to apply the rules within any event that the player characters can encounter. For example, adventures and expeditions, traps and enemies litter dungeons, waiting to obstruct the adventurer's paths. The rules introduced here are mainly used inside of dungeons, but they can also be employed in other applicable situations. For example, we have detecting traps. A detectable trap is one that can be discovered by attempting to detect traps, of course. Primarily, detectable traps activate when a character opens a door, moves an object, or in response to other direct player character actions. To detect a trap, the character must be in the same engagement as the target they believe is trapped, that is, object, wall, door, etc. Once they are, they declare they wish to detect traps, then perform a perception check. If the total check score is greater than or equal to the trap's detect value, the check succeeds, and they uncover the trap. If a character who does not have the trap detection skill fails the check, they will accidentally spring the trap. You need to refer to each individual trap for those effects. If a trap doesn't have a detect value, that means it is not a secret trap. Characters can see this without needing to detect them first. The game master must draw or otherwise mark them on the map, pointing them out to the players in advance. A character cannot attempt to detect traps in the same place more than once. We also have details on identifying enemies. Investigating what sorts of abilities an encountered enemy possesses is called enemy identification. When a character attempts to identify an enemy, they choose one target within visual range, declaring that they want to identify it, and they make an intelligence check. If their total check score is greater than or equal to the enemy's identification score, also called an ID score, the check succeeds, and the game master tells them the enemy's name, level, element, whether their physical or magic defense is higher, or if they are the same, and any enemy skills they possess. A character who has attempted an enemy identification in a scene cannot try it again on the same enemy. Enemy identification can also be used to gain information about other non-player characters, such as their name or other information revealing details about them. And these are just a couple of situations that you can encounter in dungeons, expeditions, and adventures in general. But what about non-dungeon situations, or where you are negotiating or carrying out all sorts of dealings that don't necessarily have to be related to traps, enemies, and such? There are details on gathering information. A character can acquire information by asking around or looking into paperwork by using information gathering. The ability score and difficulty level used for the information gathering checks are determined by the game master based on the information to be gathered. If they can't decide on one ability score in particular, it is recommended to make it a perception check. If the character passes the check, they receive the information. There's also buying and selling items. Players can buy and sell items at any time during the session, if allowed by the game master. Whether it's pre-play, main play, or after play, when buying an item, that item's value is subtracted from the character's money. A character can't buy an item without the necessary funds. When players sell items, they receive money equal to half the item's printed worth. So there are plenty of details to handle any sort of situation outside or inside an adventure site, such as swimming, flying, moving in secret, how to deal with darkness and surprise attacks. That is darkness, not the character. Rolling to determine loot, etc. Now let's talk about character growth. Both the players and game master receive experience points at the end of a session. Players can spend these experience points to have their characters grow. Experience points are given to the players and game master themselves, not the characters. A player or game master may use their experience points on any character they have created. Experience points can be used during pre-play or during after play with the game master's permission. A player or game master loses any experience points they use. When using them, have the game master write over them in the record sheet and session sheet with a red pen or something else that makes it difficult to change. There are two ways to use experience points. Of course, a player can raise their character's level by spending experience points. The number of experience points needed to gain a level in this way is 10 times the character's current level. When a character gains a level, the player can perform a few different actions. The characters can learn skills, change classes, or raise their blessings. To learn a skill, you choose one of the following patterns. You learn 3 levels worth of racial skills and/or class skills. You learn 3 levels worth of racial skills and/or class skills, as well as change classes. You learn 2 levels worth of racial skills and/or class skills, as well as gaining a blessing. You choose skills to learn from those available to the character's class. The character may acquire a new skill or raise the level of a skill they've already learned. However, a player may not raise a single class skill further than 2 levels. When choosing pattern 2, a player can change their character's class. This is called a class change. When changing classes, you rewrite the class section and class modifier section on your character sheet, then recalculate all ability scores. When changing classes, a character can learn both the skills from their previous class and the skills from their new class. If your character changes classes upon leveling up, they do not lose any class skills they've already learned. However, if a character changes from adventurer to another class, they lose their additional blessings effect. In other words, they take a -1 to their maximum number of blessings. If the character changes back to adventurer, they gain it back. If a character has reached at least level 10, they may class change into an advanced class. When choosing pattern 3, the character gains an additional blessing. A character may choose 3 base ability scores and raise each of them by 1 point. There is no upper limit on a base ability score's value. After raising base ability scores, recalculate your ability bonuses and ability scores. When raising ability scores, stats calculated from certain ability scores, max HP, max MP, and action points will also increase. For each level a character gains, their max HP increases by the HP gain amount for their class, and their max MP increases according to the MP gain amount for their class. You need to refer to the class modifier list in the appropriate section. In addition, if you've increased their base strength score or base mind score, don't forget to recalculate the relevant values. When changing classes, refer to the HP and MP gain values for the new class rather than the old one. A character's action points will grow with increases to agility and perception, and a character's movement will grow with increases to strength. By spending 5 experience points, a character may learn 1 level's worth of general skills. However, a character can only know a total level of general skills equal to their character level, plus 1. When it comes to changing to advanced classes are alternate versions of specific classes that are even more specialized in their role. In order to change to an advanced class, a character must fulfill some requirements. First, you need to reach level 10. At this point, or higher, they must choose pattern 2 when raising stats, to learn 3 levels worth of racial skills and/or class skills, and perform a class change, then choose an advanced class as the target of that class change. Which advanced classes are accessible to a character depends on their current class, the one before changing classes. For example, only a warrior can class change into a crusader. A character cannot change directly from one advanced class to another. However, by first going through the prerequisite class, they can become a different advanced class. For example, a crusader character can't class change into an archpriest. But if that character class changes into a priest, they will then be able to change into an archpriest. Class modifiers, HP gain values, and MP gain values will alter as a result of changing to an advanced class. And advanced classes can also learn skills from their base class. For example, a crusader can still learn warrior skills upon leveling up, and an archwizard can learn wizard skills. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about the Game Master section and the World section. I really like the Other Rules subsection because it gives you examples and mechanics on how to handle any situation during the course of an adventure, or perhaps before the adventure or at the end of an adventure. You never know what you're going to find in a dungeon, haunted mansion, forbidden tower, or in town, in a city, or when traveling across the road, across the wilderness. And when it comes to blessings, this is another resource that you can employ to save the lives of your player characters. That way they have a bit of a chance to rescue their characters by re-rolling those checks or by raising the number of dice that they roll from the very start. I think this also fits the theme and the mood of Konosuba, with those funny and unexpected situations when the characters are actually successful at what they do, even by accident. And I really like the character growth system. This allows you to come up with some hybrid classes, to put it in a way, although you are still modified or reconfigured each time you switch classes. You still get to keep the other skills that you learned in your former class, and you can think of so many character combinations, taking some levels in warrior, then some levels in priest, then in thief perhaps, rune knight, sword fighter, creator, on your way to becoming a level 10 character, and then you can switch to an advanced class. Thank you for watching this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.